First off, I'd like to obviously thank the homecoming crowd. I know that to be a 2-4 team coming into today and to have a homecoming crowd. I think the stadium when we came in, as far as through 7 games now, that was the best environment we had. I know the student section was sold out, and I appreciate the faith that they have. They have a very common bond with our players, and the fact that they're living through it right now as future alumni, and they want their experience to be positive, right? So I really respect and I appreciate what they've done. Give Wisconsin credit for executing their plan today. I do think overall, to even come in at halftime to be in a game that's attainable still, and to play the way we did, especially in certain phases in the first half. Thought we'd really come back in that second half and try to deliver. We just couldn't ever get anything going offensively. It seemed like defensively, we did some things. Had to pick early. I think Kirby Joseph just continues to impress me. That play he made on the ball was the definition of free safety play. Then he comes up with another fumble recovery. I think there was enough positive on defense that you felt good that we could go forward, but we just couldn't really get. And I knew they were a good defense. I get it. Knew it would be tough sledding. Again, the run game, we just aren't at a point to execute in a throw game that gives you a chance in this type of game. So we continue to work on it. We can't just accept that we can't do it. We got to obviously double down. I think we really have to be cautious about before we get in the schematic of throwing and catching. We weren't protecting our quarterback, right? And he's got people under duress. Obviously, BP got hit, and I don't know his status yet, but they put Art in there, and I know he was hit a couple times too. I think it all starts with our protection before we can even get to the point of schematics. I do think, from an injury standpoint, don't know where Jake's status is yet, but we definitely today I was excited to have Spoon and Jake back in with us, and I thought it gave our guys a little bit of juice on defense. Offensively, we just got to continue to find answers. This week going into our bye week, I think we concentrate on the fundamentals. The games are won and fundamental play. As coaches, we'll be out on the road quite a bit this week. Starting tomorrow, we'll maximize the NCAA rules to try to help us recruit and develop our roster as best we can. And then, like I just told our guys, we got a bye week, we got a 3-week season, a bye week, and a 2-week season. We have 5 guaranteed games left to get as much as we can out of those 5 games. And where that leads, nobody knows. But I do know if we take this week to really take an internal check, find out what we do well, what we don't do well as coaches, improve on that, we'll keep taking a step forward. So unfortunately, this is another step in the process. It's very painful to go through, but the worst thing we can do is just leave it behind like it never happened. So we gotta own it and know what it means to walk off the field feeling like we just did without scoring a point and walking off against a Big Ten West opponent that we didn't do what we needed to do. So with that, open it up for questions.
Only 13 rushes, 30, like you put it in the air 34 times. Just a product of how the game unfolded, or was it the game plan to try to throw on?
No, I think that a little bit of it has it unfolded. When the second half, when it was apparent that we weren't able to, do anything consistently in a run game, it got a little bit skewed that way. But, I think, they're very, very good, effective run defense, and we knew that to get that done, we're going to have to do some unconventional things to try and get the game going. We just never were able to get ahead of the chains, and then obviously third down was abysmal.
You went to Ari a little bit. Brandon was nicked up. What went into that?
What's that?
Brandon got nicked up a little bit. Went to him. What went through that? Like, what was Brandon's status, and what did you think of Art?
Yeah, Brandon was ruled out by medical purposes. Yeah, so Art's been really going back to a couple weeks ago. I believe it was Purdue game. We had a serious conversation. Me with BP, me with Art, and just talked about where he needed to be, and he'd been getting a lot more reps during the course of practice. So it was something that I think our guys weren't all that. It obviously transitioned due to injury, but I know Art had gotten a lot of reps and felt good about him executing the game plan today.
Difficulty of having none of the continuity that makes the quarterback position. So what's the difficulty of trying to establish your offense when you start a quarterback to just get dinged up?
Offensively, the only guy that's guaranteed to get the ball almost every play is the center and the quarterback, right? So everything starts with that position, and obviously we've had 2 quarterbacks rolling through there. I think to continue for us offensively, we got to do what we do best. We can't try to force something into a player or a play that we can't execute. So I think we're just kind of constantly searching that. And again, like today, when we couldn't run the football, it turns it into a throw game. And obviously, like I said, there's three parts of that, right? The protection, the execution of the throw and the catch, and obviously the scheme of it by design, and just wasn't good enough today.
I know you mentioned the protection for the quarterbacks, but just over the course of the last few weeks, what do you think the biggest disconnect in the passing game has been?
Yeah, I think that, again, the three phases. Before we can talk about, what kind of route or what kind of scheme we're running, we got to be able to protect it. And then the actual art of, or the performance of actually throwing the football and catching it. And then obviously the design concepts. Those three things haven't been where we need to be. It can't get any more basic or fundamental than that. I do think there were some plays today that, that just a little bit high here, a little bit accuracy in the throw. I don't really remember that many just drops being out there. So I think just to work on the throwing, the timing, and the catching of it will greatly help us. And we got 2 weeks to do that. So the bye week's got to be big. Oh, yeah. Josh wasn't, there wasn't any issue there. I think now when we went hurry up and no huddle midway through the third quarter, fourth quarter, that kind of eliminates his he hasn't played enough football, doesn't have a full comprehension of our no huddle system to go that way.
You evaluate your defense, and they're out there a long time a day, but it seems like there's been some signs there some cautious signs there.
Yeah, I think I have been excited, ever since really Virginia. I think our defense has continued to take a step forward. I really like the demeanor of our guys, the coaches. I was going in today, I knew that they would at some point just get in really big people and try to lean on us and turn it into a run game. I think to live through that, you learn a lot, but I think a lot of our guys, when you have a team that's running the ball downhill at you, you have a tendency to start trying to look around or over, and it allows you to, and it makes you play high, and then they get into you and they move the line of scrimmage, and now 2-yard plays turn into 6-yard plays, and it's a couple things working against you that lead to the results we saw today. We just couldn't get off the field. And then third down, I do know early in the game we had a chance to get off the field. We ran by the quarterback. If we get him into those third down situations, we got to find a way to get a stop.
You got to recruit more to this roster. You guys are going to do that this week. But what do you want to worry about your team now this week and the 5 remaining games?
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. Like I shared with them in the locker room, right? Like obviously to be a team now that is 5 games behind us, to be 2-5 and have a bye week in front of us. They'll tell me a lot what they want to do on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, if they want to work or if they want to sit around and feel bad for themselves or sorry for themselves. We had a guest captain in this weekend, Tony Pashos, that talked about the learning curves that he had to do. I think he was recruited here during an 0-11 season, came in and had some setbacks, and then talked about how that led to where they ended up during his career, and I think our guys took note of that. So by no means is this part of the process that we wanted to go through to be 2-5, but unfortunately it is what it is, and to live in the reality of the moment has to be big for me as a head coach to get across to our player or to our coaches, and then our coaches to get it across, our players to get it, coaches to get it across to their players.
You're talking about that, the reality of the moment. When you're getting beat up front, kind of the way you did today, what kind of goes through your mind in the short term and the long term, about trying to get more physical and compete in the trenches?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What kind of goes through your mind, the short and long term, about this?
You answered it, right? You said
recruiting thing? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, recruiting is about, but I'm assuming you're talking about right now? Yeah, so we have 5 games left, right, going to bye week. I think we got to get good at fundamentals. The loss that we had today was from a team that, imposed their will in the run game against our defense, and then from our offense point of view, we couldn't get it going in the run game. So to continue to develop our roster and practice better is exactly what it is.
You mentioned Art had been getting more snaps throughout the court. I know today was medical, but what kind of goes into what boxes do you check when you decide?
Yeah, I think really going back to post Maryland, we had a rotation where as a one you 75% of the plays, right, and I wanted to get Art more reps, just wanted to see where he could continue to go. I think the part that has been really impressive to me is just the resolve of Art just to stay in his role. He was great with BP. I see those guys together all the time, trying to get themselves better. I think our offensive line, in particular, our tight ends, our wide receivers, know that both those guys have at times done some good things. They got to get better. We got to become more accurate with the football, without a doubt. We have a group of wide receivers that have continued to evolve. I think Isaiah Williams competes his tail off, but he's seven games into a wide receiver career that didn't get in his spring ball. Pat Bryant got more reps today. Casey Washington, I think, has growth and potential. I think some guys that haven't been there that we've got back now that are healthy, guys like Beeson, the possibility of maybe some of the other guys, wide receivers, that give us a new opportunity that, during this bye week we definitely have to take a peek at.
We're going to go one more
I know
question.
you talked about not being able to focus on what Wisconsin did, but you have a chance to talk to Paul after the game?
Yeah, post-game handshake, but again, like I told our players at the beginning of the week, this week wasn't about Bret Bielema's past; it's about Illinois' future, and I feel that more now than ever. I get it; I know it's a nice storyline, but those are people from my past that I have a great relationship with that have nothing to do with the moment that we're in now. We're just two teams competing in the Big Ten West. Go ahead. Are you right? Go ahead.
You mentioned Monday that you were going to use the bye week to reflections and evaluation. Does the result today change how maybe you use that?
No, I mean, I think it's easy for us to sit there and say that, right? But I knew where going into this game. I think I knew probably what our deficiencies were, what our strengths were. I think we want to try to find out how we can maximize our roster because NCAA rules, we can play guys 4 games without counting against us, right? I want to continue to build our roster. We've done that with some of our freshmen. Whether we want that to continue or pull back or try new guys is going to be critical. I think the part for us as coaches, during the course of the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, because we're so far, 7 games into it with some of the teams that we were playing like today, had only played 4 games. We want to try to stay fresh. Part of that is you don't have all the periods that you want to work on fundamentals. So this week is going to be a huge fundamental practices, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for all levels, both our 2 deep as well as our developmental roster. All good?